Welcome to a late night edition of Crime Time with DutyRon. Guys and girls, you know the drill. I'm a retired New York City police detective. And if you like all things true crime related from the police detective's perspective, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you'll get all things DutyRon and Ed Wallace when we go live or upload another video. Tonight, I had several reasons why I wanted to go live with you. I wanted to tell you about a preview for tomorrow morning at 9:30. We're going to have Luke Hall from FARO Technologies, FARO Industries. He is the 3D laser scan expert, and he represents the FARO industry company. We had him on here once before, and he did a unbelievable presentation of a crime scene, and actually multiple crime scenes for us. We're going to get into the 1122 King Road homicide location and the demolition that's forthcoming, and how that's going to affect potential jury pool, the jurors, how it's going to affect the jurors moving forward if they demolition that crime scene. But before we get into the story, before we get into the conversation, I want to say a special thank you to you, the Patreon supporters, the channel members, and all the folks who positively engage in this community. You guys are what makes this a great place, and I give thanks and praise to each and every one of you, the replay viewers, the moderators, the chatters in the live chat, the folks who leave comments down below, the subscribers, new, old, and everything in between, the gifted channel members. D. Banks is in the building, Gina, Dawn Marie, Vicky, Tracy, just so many people chiming in here. And there's a bit of breaking news on another case. Dylan Rounds. I've produced so many live events with his mom, Candice Cooley. His dad was on here with us. We did so much coverage on a Dylan Rounds case, and there really wasn't a lot of movement. Equusearch, Twila, and the crew, Dave Rader and Equusearch Midwest, went out to Utah to search for Dylan Rounds. And we have breaking news today. James Brenner, who's been in custody and the main suspect in the missing disappearance of Dylan Rounds, has been charged with aggravated murder and desecration of a human body. Today, breaking just today, Friday, out of Utah, coming out of Box Elder. So there is an arrest of James Brenner, officially charged with aggravated murder, desecration of a body. And I'm going to play a quick video from our good friends over at East Idaho News. So I'm going to play this clip. It's a little bit rough because it's from the car, but this broke from the time that I created this live stream to now. And I got a couple of messages from Twila over at Equusearch. And here's what Nate Eaton had to say.
Evening to you. Hi, good. Hey everyone, good evening to you. I just wanted to come in here really quick and let you know there is some breaking news in the Dylan Rounds case. James Brenner, the man who was squatting on property near Dylan's farm out in Lucin, Utah, was charged today with murder, aggravated murder, and desecration of a body. Both of those are felonies in the state of Utah, where he has been in the Box Elder County Jail for quite some time, since the summertime. And officials officially charged him with aggravated murder today. Just got off the phone with Dylan's mom, Candice. She sent a statement. I believe. I hope that went through. If not, we have the full statement on eastidahonews.com. I just posted a story. So Brenner has been the key suspect in all of this, and he has a pretty violent history. We don't know the details surrounding what led to this alleged crime, but we do know that Dylan has not been found. His body has not been recovered. So that is a key part of this case that still needs to be solved. But with these charges being filed, police must be pretty sure that they have the evidence they need, or at least the prosecutor in Box Elder County, Utah. So we have a story again on East Idaho News. I'm actually out with my family, but I wanted to come on here and let you know that we are aware of the story. We have put it up. Candice, I think it's a sense of relief for her and her family, and they have been wanted me to pass along their thanks to you from them for all of your support, all of your prayers, as this case has been so perplexing since he disappeared in May. If you can believe it, it was Memorial Day weekend when he was last seen, when he last made that call to his grandmother, said he had to get the grain in the shed, it was going to rain, and then he vanished. And no sign of his wallet, no sign of on his bank account, nothing like that. Some very weird and mysterious things happening, according to his family and his trailer. Items that were gone and then reappearing. His truck was spotless, had been power washed. We have all the coverage. You can go back and watch it on East Idaho News from over the past year or so, and the interviews with their parents. So I'm gonna hopefully Candice and Justin Rounds will be able to come in and chat with me. We can do another interview early next week and get their perspective.
So there you have it. That's breaking news that developed just before actually after I created the title on this video. So before I went live, this is great news. This is a huge break in the case. I always felt in my heart that James Brenner was going to eventually be charged. I just didn't know when it was going to happen. But I felt in my heart that he was responsible for the demise of Dylan Rounds. And you know, Ed Wallace and I spoke highly about this, and we've been on, we've been on many videos where we have spoken loud about this. So I'm waiting to hear from Candice Cooley. I'm hoping that I'll be able to get at least just some text updates, and I can understand if she can't come on a live stream at this point. But you know, the news is good because it's movement in the Dylan Rounds case, and we were all just so concerned because people would ask me, "Hey, have you heard anything about Dylan Rounds? Have you heard any updates?" And I really had no updates. So this is welcome news, and I'm happy. I'm hoping that the prosecutor in Box Elder County can have a successful trial, bring forth these charges, and hold James Brenner accountable for the murder of Dylan Rounds, and I'm hoping that they can also find his remains so his family can lay him to rest. So that's a great news. I'll keep you guys posted on any and all updates as it pertains to Dylan Rounds. Tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern, Ed Wallace, myself, and Luke Hall from FARO Industries, we're going to bring you an educational live stream. And again, it's not going to be for the faint of heart. We're going to give you a demonstration of the 3D laser scanners, who we have confirmed through various folks, FARO Technologies. They were able to get confirmation that 3D laser scanners were used not only by the crime scene unit in the Idaho Crime Lab, but it was also 3D laser scanned by the defense. Remember the defense, as soon as Ann Taylor got assigned Bryan Kohberger's case after he was arrested on December 30th of 2022, she hired a crime scene unit expert, and she had this crime scene unit expert go out to that location and do a 3D laser scan. So the question is, are we to be very concerned that the demolition that is forthcoming at 1122 King Road, is that going to be detrimental, and is that going to hurt the case? I want to know. Let me know in the comments here if you feel that the demolition of 1122 King Road, that's the homicide location, is going to hurt the case. Put a 1. If you feel it's not going to hurt the case, put a 2, because we have 3D laser scans and video, high resolution video and photographs, and these 3D laser scans. So the jury, when they are selected, if this thing goes to trial, this quadruple murder goes to trial, they're going to have the virtual VR goggles where they could do the walkthrough at this location and actually be inside that crime scene as it was when the crime scene investigators took the imaging and scanning with the 3D laser scan. And from what I understand, and we'll get more tomorrow morning, I'm not sure if Ed Wallace can join us. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm hoping that he can join us tomorrow in the morning. It's morning time for us, but then it's evening for him. If he can join us, he'll be there with us. But if Ed's not there, I'm going to interview Luke Hall, and he is actually going to demonstrate a high-resolution crime scene, one that is no longer active and the case is over. But you guys are going to get a chance to see a demonstration of what 3D laser scanners can do, video and high-resolution images, what that can do for a jury as far as walking into a crime scene and actually seeing the victims inside that crime scene, providing they took those 3D laser scans while the remains were still there, while the victims' bodies were still within 1122 King Road. So that's going to be 9:30 Eastern tomorrow morning. I have that live stream linked here. You will be directed over to it. But I wanted to just play for you real quick a small piece. This is just local. I believe this is news. Actually, this isn't local. This is Newsnation. So I'm going to play this little piece about the home being
We have an
removed.
update about the scene of a brutal quadruple murder. The house where 4 University of Idaho students were found murdered will be torn down. And the news coming more than 3 months after that crime rocked the small community of Moscow. Correspondent Nancy Liu joins us live. Nancy, the homeowner gave that property to the school.
That's right, Nicole. And in the wake of the quadruple murders, that 3-story house just off the Idaho campus is familiar to people all over the country. But soon that home will be demolished. The school telling Newsnation it will happen before the end of this semester. The 6-bedroom rental on King Road is already boarded up and surrounded by a chain-link fence. Along with word that the owner has donated the structure to the University of Idaho, the school has announced plans to tear it down in the next few weeks. In a statement, the U of I president notes that this is a healing step and removes the physical structure where the crime that shook our community was committed. Demolition also removes efforts to further sensationalize the crime scene. We're evaluating options where students may be involved in the future development of the property.
Is this your car?
It's been nearly 2 months since the arrest of Bryan Kohberger, a graduate student at nearby Washington State who is now awaiting trial on 4 counts of first-degree murder. Ethan Chapin, Maddie Mogan, Xana Kernodle, and Kaylee Gonsalves were found stabbed to death on November 13th. As the investigation took shape, the murder scene remained under guard for months. At one point, the tragic sight of police removing the personal items of the victims.
Can you tell us what you were looking for?
At others, Newsnation on the scene exclusively as investigators worked the case. Also there later, as preparation for a remediation process was halted by a court to allow access by Kohberger's defense team. But now the home has been cleared, and indeed it has been an
And I want to just stop that there. I'm going to come back to you guys. Nancy Liu, who did some great coverage on this case, she said that the remediation team, that was the environmental bio cleanup crew that she showed over here. When they came in, remember, it was Thursday. I believe it was a Thursday. Chief Fry from the Moscow Police Department. The Moscow Police Department told us in advance that they were going to go and clean up this location. I'll show you the disaster response hazmat crew that was going to go in there and clean up that crime scene, and they halted it. The defense halted it. The reason they halted that is because she wanted her crime scene expert to go in there and do a 3D laser scan, and he shortly thereafter went in there and did the 3D laser scans of the inside. So not only does the defense have the 3D laser scans, the prosecution with the Idaho State Crime Lab, they have 3D laser scans of inside 1122 King Road. And that's going to help tremendously give the jury a bird's eye view of inside this location. They're going to be wearing VR head goggles, and we're going to talk to Luke tomorrow morning. I'm hoping that you guys don't stay up late. And for those of you who are outside the country, maybe this is be a better time for you guys. I checked with the UK, and I think the UK time is in the afternoon. And I think for my friends in Australia and outside of United States, it's kind of later. And I think it's 1 o'clock in the morning in Australia. But hopefully you guys will watch the replay. But I wanted to find out what you guys thought of, and I looked at the chat quickly. I saw there was a lot of number 2s and there was a lot of number 1s, but let's break it down. Okay. I know that some of us here, and it might be a 50-50 split or so, feel like this is a bit premature and they should just hold off. There's a chain link fence going around the property. It's boarded up now. If you feel that that property should just be left alone until after the trial, let me know in the chat by saying I think it should be left alone. Just put some type of comment in there that would let me do a quick pooling of the chat. But if you feel that it's okay to tear it down, and the 3D laser scan and the high res video walkthroughs that the jury would be privy to and would be able to see. So I'm looking at the chat quickly. A lot of leave it alone's, Truth Seeker, Carrie saying leave it alone. Again, the room, when I did 6 days ago, I believe it was 5 or 6 days ago, when they started talking about this, I did a pool and I polled the audience, and it was kind of a split room. Some folks feel that it should be ripped down and help to the healing process. And we're going to take a listen to what the University of Idaho has to say about it. And, there was a big memo. There's a big memo posted by the president of the University of Idaho.
We have an update.
So we're going to take a look at that. Lady Catherine Perry says, I'm torn. Look at this comment. And then right underneath it, Lorraine Lawrence says the house should be left alone until after the trial. So these are some of the concerning issues. But none of us know. Deborah Martino Lewis says leave it alone until after the trial. And then right underneath her comment comes Val Fitz, whatever the parents want, I want. And again, the prosecution, the defense, they have been speaking about this. This wasn't just some decision that got made just because the University of Idaho got the property donated to them and they said, oh, we're going to tear it down. They're talking about in 2 weeks. So week number 1 has already gone by, and they're talking about in a week from now to start the demolition of this home. And I'm going to put it up on the screen. You can see it. It's all boarded up. This is what it looks like approximately around now. The lights are still on, but there's, it's boarded up and it's fenced all around the home. And it looks like they're ready to go full steam ahead. But again, the prosecution, the defense, and the judge who's sitting on this, who would be sitting on a trial if a trial was to commence, is going to have, they have the conversation. This doesn't get decided just because. Jennifer Noble's great to see you. Thank you for joining, Jen. Always a pleasure to see you. Hey, our trial for Sincere and Classic should be starting this month. You got to keep me posted on that because I keep trying to look for it and I don't really see any updates. So I'm going to reach out to Roro and see if I can get some inside scoop information on what's going on over in Bakersfield, but we got to follow that too. Here she is, Twila Cisco in the chat. Twila, always great to see you. Twila, if you want to come up and talk with me, I'll send you the link. You just give me the okay. I'll send you the link and you can come on up and talk about Dylan Rounds. I'd be happy to talk about him because I have several things I want to talk about. I want to also have a conversation about the Murdaugh sentencing today. Alec Murdaugh sentenced to 2 life in prison, two life sentences, no charges levied against them for those weapons. I guess the judge just said, you know what, we got him on 2 consecutive life sentences. He's not going to get out for the rest of his natural born life. So I think they just left it alone. So let's play this clip and I'll be right back with you guys.
About the scene of a brutal quadruple murder. The house where 4 University of Idaho students were found murdered will be torn down. And the news coming more than 3 months after that crime rocked the small community of Moscow. Correspondent Nancy Liu joins us live. Nancy, the homeowner gave that property to the school.
That's right, Nicole. And in the wake of the quadruple murders, that 3-story house just off the Idaho campus is familiar to people all over the country. But soon that home will be demolished. The school telling Newsnation it will happen before the end of this semester. The 6-bedroom rental on King Road is already boarded up and surrounded by a chain link fence. Along with word that the owner has donated the structure to the University of Idaho, the school has announced plans to tear it down in the next few weeks. In a statement, the U of I president notes that this is a healing step and removes the physical structure where the crime that shook our community was committed. Demolition also removes efforts to further sensationalize the crime scene. We're evaluating options where students may be involved in the future development of the property.
Is this your car?
It's been nearly 2 months since the arrest of Bryan Kohberger, a graduate student at nearby Washington State who is still awaiting trial on 4 counts of first-degree murder. Ethan Chapin, Maddie Mogan, Xana Kernodle, and Kaylee Gonsalves were found stabbed to death on November 13th. As the investigation took shape, the murder scene remained under guard for months. At one point, the tragic sight of police removing the personal items of the victims.
Can you tell us what you were looking for?
At others, Newsnation on the scene exclusively as investigators worked the case. Also there later, as preparation for a remediation process was halted by a court to allow access by Kohberger's defense team. But now the home has been cleared, and indeed it has been an attraction among the curious. The U of I has also announced plans for 4 new scholarships, as well as a future healing garden and memorial to honor the 4 victims. Nicole.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's the plans. That was over a week. That was a week ago. So if it all goes according to plan in the next week or so, the demolition will commence on 1122 King Road. Hey, I got a special guest for you guys, and this is going to blow everybody away. I have chiming in from India, Ed Wallace, tonight. This morning for him. Ed, how you doing, brother?
Good morning from India, folks. Yes, doing good, Ron. Doing good. Glad to be here. Want to thank everybody and yourself for the love you all showed me the other day on my birthday. Couldn't come at a better time. Thank you all for that. A lot of good news today, right? A lot of good news on multiple fronts.
Absolutely. Dylan Rounds, the suspect that was in custody, the numero uno suspect, James Brenner, was officially charged today with aggravated murder and desecration of a body. 2 felony charges. Candice Cooley texted me with a group text with Twila. Ed, as you know, Twila has gone out there to search herself, boots on the ground, with the drone team, Tony from Equusearch and a couple of other gentlemen that were out there with them. They spent at least a good week out there searching for Dylan Rounds. So Ed Wallace, I want to just say happy birthday, brother. Look, you're a super fan. Allison said, "There's Ed. I feel faint."
Okay. Well, don't faint, because I'm not there to catch you.
Don't faint. Let's say hello to a couple of people in the chat, because everyone's going crazy. Scout Inquirer is saying hi, Ed. Sweet One is how's the weather in India? There's a question.
Hot.
Yeah,
it's very hot, sometimes humid, but there's something in the air here. I mean, every time I go out into the environment here, it kind of stings my face. I don't know what it is, but it's something in the environment here. But yes, for those who are asking, I am a Pisces.
Wow. Look, and everyone's figuring out that sign because of your birthday. We figured it out March 1st. Lorraine Lawrence is sending you love, and the chat's going crazy right now, Ed. I can't ignore it. Everybody's saying hello, and great to see you. It's been a while. So listen, Wi-Fi isn't the greatest when you're outside the country, but Ed's been busy. He's not there on a siesta. He's not he's not vacationing. He's working. So
yes. And somebody mentioned about the cows here. I saw that. I had a chuckle. There are cows everywhere. I mean, they just own the roads around here. Okay, yeah. So you got to be careful not to hit them.
Well, hopefully you're not doing too much driving. I think you didn't take a rental. You didn't take a rental in India, so I know that if you're getting around by cab or whatever.
No, we have embassy assigned drivers. So but they have to drive because I couldn't drive here. I would have killed hundreds of people already in the short period of time that I've been here, because street lights here are just a suggestion. Okay, nobody on it, and they have more horn blowing here than Manhattan. Okay, wow. I've never heard the horn blown so much in any major metropolitan city in America as I've heard in the city of Bhopal.
Wow. Unbelievable. It's when people like, okay, so I go on vacations a couple of times a year. I go to Aruba, I go to some, I've been to Bermuda, I've been outside, but some of the areas that you go to teach and train other people from outside the country, it's amazing. Like you said, when you get back into the United States, you kind of kiss the ground because it's so different but so cool. It's great.
No, it is. It's I love learning new cultures, language, right. Food, experiencing the food. Very spicy. Oof. Yeah. Bangkok, Thailand, very spicy. Indonesia, very spicy. Here, right. Very spicy. A lot of curry, very good. I like the curry.
Right.
But when the waiter says to you, "How would you like your food? Mild, their version of mild is the start of the spicy section." Okay, so right. I said below mild.
Hey, listen, Twila Cisco is in the waiting room, and I don't know how much time she has, so I don't want to just let her sit there and wait. So Ed, before we bring Twila on, I got the text message from Candice Cooley, Dylan Round's mom, and Twila about James Brenner being charged with aggravated murder and desecration of a human body. Before I bring Twila on, I know that you called me and you'd sent me a text. How did you find out about it, Ed?
Well, I got Just Julie and Dr. Ed sent me a text, and then I immediately went online and started searching, and then I saw some YouTube content.
Okay, so you saw some people live. Well, Dr. Julie and Ed are in Pocatello, Idaho, which that's that area, Utah, Idaho. So they got the info. Twila, as soon as you give me the thumbs up, I'll add you on, Twila. All right, there it is. Twila Cisco, search coordinator, drone search director. Twila from Equusearch Midwest. How are you, my dear? Always good to see you.
Your mic's off, Twila.
You're muted.
I'm great. Now that we got the news here that we've been wanting to hear for months and months and months and months, and I couldn't be even any more prouder than I am of Candice for all the hell that she's had to go through to fight and fight and fight and fight. This is what a true parent does to get justice for her son, and we're still not going to give up. We're still going to have her back every step of the way, and I just wish that I could give her a really, really huge hug right now.
Yeah, she definitely needs the hug. And you guys did so much in that. What were you there about a week, right? In Utah. You searched. You went out and did on the ground searching, driving around in your vehicles and drone searches and so forth. How surprised were you that this happened? Did you know this was going down? Did you have any advanced knowledge without giving up anything that would hurt the case?
The conversations that we've had, behind the scenes, and knowing the way that Candice is, I I could feel in my heart that it was going to be much more longer because she wasn't giving up. And I'm telling you, she's like a stick of dynamite, and she's not ever going to give up on her son. But I could feel in my heart that it was coming eventually. I just wish and hope and pray that somehow or another he lets out a little bit of information of where Dylan is. You know, he's already been charged. He needs to just go ahead, give up the location. At this point, it's not important of what he did. What's important is bringing Dylan home, you know, so his family can have that peace and that closure. That would be the right thing to do. And I think that Candice is going to get to that point. If she has to go to jail herself, I think she'll get there with him.
Yeah.
Do we know how we got here? Is this physical evidence, forensic evidence, or is this a jailhouse snitch? Or do we know how we got to this point?
From what I understand, supposedly they have solid evidence that led up to these charges. Yes.
Cool.
There's solid evidence, which they haven't released that. And she's worked, Candice and Justin them have worked so very, very hard. And I think, like, it just, I'm not even Dylan's mother, and it feels like there's just a little bit of weight lifted off my shoulders because I care so much about the family. The family is amazing, and I love Candice with all my heart, and Justin too. That's such a good family, and that's what a family of a missing person does. And I hope before too long something comes up to where Dylan is so that Dylan can be brung home. But from what I understand, they had solid evidence to be able to charge him with this.
Yeah. And for all those haters out there that were attacking her, you know, this is what a true mother does. Okay. Never give up, never surrender, you know, and if she didn't be as vocal as she was, we wouldn't have probably gotten to this point.
Right.
You're exactly right. And I'll tell you, we were out there for a week, and this lady was so determined. And I mean, I literally sat there in a camper with her, and I'm not going to go into the details, but to hear some of the phone calls that she was getting and the hell that she was going through with some of these evil people out in the world that was accusing her or accusing Justin or just accusing anybody in general, except for the one that was actually there that knows what he done. It was awful. There was times that, I mean, I couldn't even hold my tears in, and to see her sit there, still conduct business, keep her head on straight. She was out there every single day that we were out there. One day we were out there, it was spitting ice. The winds was blowing like crazy, and she never gave up, never gave up. And I hope when I get older, I'm 40 now, but I hope when I get older, I'm as strong as her. Anytime that I feel like I want to give up over the simple things in life, if I'm having a bad day, I think in my head of her and her. I just can't put in words how strong she is and how hard she's worked. And I couldn't be more happy that they finally got that SOB with them charges, and he's not going nowhere. I just hope that he does the right thing so that Dylan can be brought home to his family.
So I want to absolutely, and you said that so well, and you described Candice to a T because you spent such great amount of time with her, not just on the phone, but in person. I want to play the piece from East Idaho News for the people who are confused in the chat of what we're talking about. Of course, the title of this video is the University of Idaho planning to demolition 1122 King Road. But before I went live and after, obviously, I created this title for this video, I will change it when we're done. But this was breaking news. This broke as I was ready to go live. So I didn't have a chance to change the title. We were talking about Dylan Rounds, a young man that went missing on Memorial Day 2022 in May. And his remains have not yet been found, but the person who's responsible for his murder has been charged today. James Brenner, being held since July of 2022 in jail on other charges, was officially charged today by Box Elder, the district attorney's office. And I'm going to play the video right now for you guys. This is the perpetrator. He's on the scene, and there's our victim to the right, Dylan Rounds. So I'm going to play this. This is East Idaho News. Our good friend Nate Eaton and he's in his car. So he was out with his family, but this was breaking news for him. He ran out to his vehicle and started this video. It starts out sideways.
Hey everyone, good evening to you. I just wanted to come in here really quick and let you know there is some breaking news in the Dylan Rounds case. James Brenner, the man who was squatting on property near Dylan's farm out in Lucin, Utah, was charged today with murder, aggravated murder, and desecration of a body. Both of those are felonies in the state of Utah, where he has been in the Box Elder County Jail for quite some time, since the summertime. And officials officially charged him with aggravated murder today. Just got off the phone with Dylan's mom, Candice. She sent a statement. I believe. I hope that went through. If not, we have the full statement on eastidahonews.com. I just posted a story. So Brenner has been the key suspect in all of this, and he has a pretty violent history. We don't know the details surrounding what led to this alleged crime, but we do know that Dylan has not been found. His body has not been recovered. So that is a key part of this case that still needs to be solved. But with these charges being filed, police must be pretty sure that they have the evidence they need, or at least the prosecutor in Box Elder County, Utah. So we have a story again on East Idaho News. I'm actually out with my family, but I wanted to come on here and let you know that we are aware of the story. We have put it up. Candice, I think it's a sense of relief for her and her family, and they have been wanted me to pass along their thanks to you from them for all of your support, all of your prayers, as this case has been so perplexing since he disappeared in May. If you can believe it, it was Memorial Day weekend when he was last seen, when he last made that call to his grandmother, said he had to get the grain in the shed, it was going to rain, and then he vanished. And no sign of his wallet, no sign on his bank account, nothing like that. Some very weird and mysterious things happening, according to his family and his trailer. Items that were gone and then reappearing. His truck was spotless, had been power washed. We have all the coverage. You can go back and watch it on East Idaho News from over the past year or so.
And they have a ton of coverage, might I say. They have a ton of coverage. I want to read the statement from Candice Cooley. Ed, I took you off because I saw you were getting your shoes on and stuff. So when you give me the thumbs up, I'll add you back. So here's the statement, and this comes off of East Idaho News. This is from Candice Cooley, Dylan Round's mom. Justin and I would like to thank everyone for the support you have shown us as we focus on finding answers in the disappearance of our son, Dylan. Candice Cooley, Dylan's mom, tells East Idaho News in a statement Friday. James Brenner has been listed as the official suspect since July of 2022. The charges are based on solid evidence that has been released by Box Elder. We ask that you continue your thoughts and prayers for justice for Dylan and that we can bring him home. And this was the statement from Candice Cooley. Ed, whenever you're ready, you give me the thumbs up. I'll add you back. All right, there he is. Ed Wallace back in the building. He was putting on his combat boots. So he's getting ready to go out.
Yeah,
and
I got a boogie in a few. But it's a perfect time to say this. There's a famous quote, and I want you people to try to look it up to see who said it, because I do know who it is. But there are three things that can't be hidden for very long: the sun, the moon, and the truth.
Yeah.
Perfectly said.
Perfectly said, and I don't know who said that, but Ed does certainly, and he wants everyone to look it up. So let's look to the chat and see who can come up the quickest with that, because whoever comes up with the quickest wins a prize, and it's good. The prize is going to come from Ed Wallace, and he's going to say,
"Oh, gnarly!"
All right, the first one that gets this quote. Oh, I see it.
Buddha.
The first one, the first Buddha there.
Oh, wait a minute. No.
Okay.
Ed said it.
Hold on.
No, it was Buddha.
I'm looking at the chat. It was Buddha, right?
Yes, that was the answer. So who was the first one who said it?
I see Alice. Let me just make sure there was nobody before her. I'm looking at my official chat right here. All right, it's her. It's our good friend Allie D. She got it first. So what are we going to give her? A DutyRon pen?
No, I'm going to send her an autographed copy of my book.
Oh, wow. All right, Allie D, you got to send me your address, and I will have an autographed copy of Ed Wallace's crime scene book. What is the book labeled? I have it here.
Crime Scene Investigations, 4th edition.
There you go. Crime Scene Investigations, 4th edition. Allie gets to read that book. It's quite a read, and congratulations. Ed, I wanted to get your thoughts before you leave on two things. Not only just Dylan Rounds, but 1122 King Road. Tomorrow morning, 9:30 my time. What is that, 8:30 your time, PM tonight?
Yeah.
We're going to have Luke Hall come back on from FARO Industries.
Mm-hmm.
They're planning to demo it. We haven't really got a chance to speak about this. A trial hasn't even commenced. We don't know if, there is going to be a trial. We know that hasn't pled not guilty yet, and June 26th we'll know more at the preliminary hearing. But what's your thoughts on the residence being torn down before a trial commences, Ed?
Again, it's very similar. My opinion in this is very similar to people that rush to do cremation.
Cassie Cooley.
Yeah, slam on the brakes here a little bit. Pump the brakes. Well, what's the necessity to get it done right now? Okay. I don't know. I see both sides of the coin. I understand both sides of the coin, but from a forensic standpoint, evidence standpoint, I'd like to keep it around just a little bit more.
Yeah. And, we're going to have a full out conversation with Luke about that, and some of the things that he can bring to the table. And I believe the last time we had a conversation with him, Ed, he said that juries across the country, across the world for that matter, he said he has international, he has his equipment internationally sent out. He said that they're using this exclusively in a lot of the the jury pools that want to go and see a crime scene. Now, when we look at major metropolitans, when people argue, if you were to tear down every crime scene, every location where there was a heinous crime committed, we'd have buildings being torn down left and right, and apartments and locations. What's the rush? Why the rush to do this? And I kind of agree in agreement with you on that, because they can control this location, as we showed the fence all around. You can have it blocked off, so it's still going to be a circus. People are going to go by and take pictures and so forth, but that's always going to be happening, even if it's a memorial or if it's the building and the structure there. So what's the, like you said, what's the rush in it? So I'm glad that we got Ed Wallace's thoughts on that. And Dylan Rounds, you and I we have had Candice Cooley numerous times on with us. We've had Twila on with her. We even had his dad on with us, right? Justin came on.
Yeah.
And we talked quite a bit at length about this case and about the jagaloonish behavior that went on here. I got to rip it out. There's the sign. And all the people who were, just bad talking Candice and the way she was acting. And there's a lot of people that have some humble pie to eat at this point tonight.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I appreciate you taking out the time, Ed. I didn't expect, I knew it was early morning for you. I really appreciate you coming on. Everyone's looking forward to you, morning time, me, and evening for you, to have this, hour-long conversation with Luke. What's going on over there, Twila? Who do you got there with you?
She's getting some love.
That's her daughter. Hi.
Uh-huh.
She came
All right,
out.
Ron, Twila.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi. Ed has got to run, so we're gonna say goodbye to Ed, and then we'll continue the conversation. Ed, thank you. Have a great day. And Ed, guess
see you guys.
Have a great day. Have a great night.
60 is the new 40, Ed. So 60
is the new 40.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Ed, thanks, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
See you tonight.
Yep. We'll see you in a little bit. A couple of hours. We'll have Ed Wallace back with us. All right, there he goes. Ed Wallace gone. Katina says exactly, DutyRon. What's the rush? Twila, have you been following the Idaho quadruple murders over in Moscow, Idaho? Have you been following that case at all, Twila?
Yeah, I have. I've been following it, but we've been so busy. I mean, we've been working cases left and right. We've had some recoveries lately, and we've been on this one case every weekend for the last, I'd say, at least a month. But I've been following it a little bit, and I see when you go on there and do your lives. But I have a concern with them tearing that down so soon. Also, wouldn't like the jury or something? What if one of them asked to go in and see that or see the layout, or wouldn't that become a problem then if it's tore down?
Yeah, it's exactly what we're talking about. And that's the conversation that we're going to have tomorrow morning. The company, FARO Industries, has a 3D laser scanner. And that 3D laser scanner does 4K high resolution imaging on the inside of this crime scene. And it was used at this location. So what it provides for a jury is the actual footprint of the crime scene with the victims in it at the exact locations where they were found by first responders. So it gives a jury an opportunity to have a bird's eye view of the crime scene as it was in its original state with video. And they put on virtual reality goggles and they can walk right into the crime scene.
Wow.
And see each of the victims in each of their locations. So
wow.
That's one of the primary reasons why I believe the defense and the prosecution agreed together on the demolition of this home, because if they had any objections to it, a court order would be issued, just the way they stopped the crime scene cleanup at one point. So the defense could have their go at doing 3D laser scanning and imagery. And they don't only just do the inside of the home, they do the whole outside, the backyard, the side yards, the front, and everything. But people are saying, Mel Stiller says premature demolition is not a wise idea. But unfortunately, we don't have a say in the matter, right?
Right.
The court is okaying it. The court is given the blessing. This, remember, folks in the audience, this is not just something that's being done recklessly by the University of Idaho. They got permission from the court and from the prosecution and defense together. They got together and they said, yeah, here's the blessing, go ahead and do it. They're not just doing it on their own. And that's what we all have to understand. Susan RN says, but it also seems that another purpose of the laser scan is so that you can clean up a crime scene sooner. Listen, I am a retired detective, and I spent over 20 years in the NYPD. Some of our crime scenes where there was multiple murders at the location have been processed and handed back to the owners in 12 to 24 hours. And I know that from me personally being on crime scenes and sitting there and making sure nobody goes in other than the medical examiner, the crime scene investigators, detectives from the homicide squad. And in 12 to 24 hours, the crime scene is photographed, videoed, documented, sketched, and turned back over to the owners. And that quick. So this holding of crime scenes, at least in major metropolitans, they get released so quickly, and successful prosecutions are had right and left, just based on photos and imagery. Look, I sat in on Karina Vetrano's trial. Joey Brooklyn, he's in the chat here. Some of my local New York friends. I sat in on that trial. That crime scene, again, it was outdoors, but the crime scene was held for processing. And within 24 hours, that crime scene, the tape was down, and anybody was able to go in there and walk across it, walk through it. It was in a park. It was in a public park. So this is not unusual for this to happen. But when you are in a rural area, again, the argument is, and I agree, what is the rush? You don't need to tear it down. Put the fencing around it, make it big fencing around so nobody can get in there. Put a guard there, or if you have to, And, you know, because if the scene is not guarded 24 hours a day, that means someone can get in there and trample through it and burn it down if they wanted to, right? Or, you know, do some type of something. I don't know. You know, anything can happen if it's not being watched 24/7. So I guess a decision was made, and it was made not only by the University of Idaho and the court system. I'm sure that the families of these victims had a say in this as well. You know,
That's what I was about to say. I wonder how the family feels about it. You know, are they going to tear it down and make it like a little memorial garden for those students, or what are they going to do? Like, I don't understand, but I guess it's a part of how things work these days, you know.
Tonight with an
right. Let me play this piece so everybody can hear and see what you're talking about, because this has exactly what to do with what you're saying right now. So let's just play this little thing. Let me get it back to the beginning.
Tonight with an update from the University of Idaho. The owner of this King Road home where 4 University of Idaho students were murdered last year is now being donated to the university.
Today we have learned the school is going to demolish the home and create a healing garden and memorial for Kaylee, Xana, Ethan, and Madison. KREM 2 Shannon Mowdy has more tonight from Moscow.
Police tape still circles this entire scene, but there are signs of change at the King Road home in Moscow, Idaho, where 4 University of Idaho students were murdered. The university now owns this property and says it'll be torn down.
To get rid of that place that's so painful for our community. It's the place where these 4 students were brutally murdered, and the reminder still stands.
Now boarded up and blocked off with warnings against trespassers, the King Road home where Xana, Madison, Ethan, and Kaylee were killed is likely seeing its last winter.
We're hoping to begin demolition just as quickly as possible, and definitely would like to see it come down this semester.
Jody Walker says the University of Idaho hopes by spring this property will be leveled, discouraging those who are sensationalizing what's become a painful reminder for this community.
The owner of the King Road property approached the university about receiving the home, and the university accepted that donation.
While one reminder is coming down, the University of Idaho will be far from forgetting.
We absolutely have students on the planning committee for this. It is important that we have students. This is a space for them.
A memorial and healing garden is being planned. So far, no site has been selected, but Walker says it's a step toward healing.
They're all just signs of community and a Vandal family trying to help each other move forward. So all are.
So yeah, there you have it, Twila. So it's coming from the university, but also again, the blessing came from the courts. The court is not going to not have a say in this. So people in the chat, some folks think it's the University of Idaho for marketing reasons. I'm not going to pass judgment like that because I don't know. But I know that the judicial system, the courts, they're definitely heavily involved in giving the blessing for this to go ahead, because if they had an objection to it, whether it was the defense or the prosecution, it would be stopped. It would be halted by a court order. And who knows, we may still see that. So anything is possible. I got a message back from Candice. I was inviting in that group text, Twila, I was inviting you, but I also, the invite was to her. But she says, I'd love to come on, but I'm in no state to talk right now. She's upset, obviously. This is upsetting for any parent, right? So there's Dawn Marie. She puts it in capital letters. James Brenner has been charged with the murder of Dylan Rounds. And also desecration of a body. So it is, a difficult time for the Cooley and the Rounds family. So we send our strength, prayers, and positive vibes to them. Nothing but, our support, anything that we could do over here, not only from Crime Time with DutyRon, but also from the whole community. Twila, you with Equusearch, you've been a blessing for the Cooley and the Rounds family. So I thank you for everything that you and Dave Rader and the whole team does. You guys are angels, and you're doing God's work. So I can't say enough good about you guys, and I want to do another fundraiser for you guys so you can continue to do your great work. And on Crime Time with DutyRon, we're going to plan that, and I'm hoping that everybody that's a part of this community would, help to chip in whatever they can afford to chip in. It all goes to your nonprofit group that goes out and searches for the missing. And I think last time we did that, we raised quite a bit of money for you guys, and you did some great things with it. You got some drones. You did a lot of good for families like the Cooley and the Rounds family. So I will wholeheartedly support you guys every second of my time, anytime I can. So.
And if I could say something real quick, if I had to speak on behalf of Candice and Justin and their families, I would say give them their time. I know this is like, they've been wanting this, they got this, but at the same time, it's also, can't imagine the pain that they're going through. But if I had to speak for them, I'd say, just leave them alone for a little while. And if you try to contact them and they don't get back with you, just know that it's not nothing bad against y'all. I would just give them their time, because there is a lot of people out there with a lot of hell that they went through that does owe them an apology. But right now, I really, truly don't think that they're worried about that. I would just give everybody, just leave them alone for a little while and let them process this. I mean, this is their child that we're talking about. This is not just some animal out here. The animals behind bars, and just give them their time and let them get through this process as a family. They don't need everybody out in the world, myself including, harassing them and doing this and doing that. Just let them have their time. They know that we're out here. There's people out here that care. And I think that Candice knows without a doubt, if something comes available, that Equusearch will be there in a hot second. We're ready to deploy at any given moment to go out there and help her free of charge, no money taken or nothing, to help bring Dylan home, because Candice and Justin and the whole Rounds family and Dylan is our family now, and we care a lot about him. We went out there for a whole week, and they opened their arms and treated us like we were their family. I mean, she treated me like I was her daughter, and it brings tears to my eyes. But I would just let that family alone for now and let them process all this. And when the time is right, Candice will, speak out publicly when she feels like it, but I can't imagine her pain right now. And then on another note, let me tell you, DutyRon, that fundraiser helped us tremendously. And as a matter of fact, Tony D, that's in the chat now probably, and Danny was out. Me and Dave sent them out a couple weeks ago. It was like 2 hours from where they're from. Me and Tony and Danny and Dave were working this case of a guy that went missing. Tony and Danny pulled into a parking lot, wide open parking lot. And Tony and Danny had their drones out. I think Danny's drone was in the air, or maybe Tony just landed his drone or something. Very, very expensive drone. And this man came through the parking lot. Supposedly he's a local drunk, and ran over Tony's drone. So Tony, and then our other drone that we purchased with the money from the fundraiser, the one that I was flying, we had to send it back. It had a malfunction. And then the other Air 2S this past weekend that we got through the fundraiser has issues. So we're having to send it back. So we've got one pilot with one drone right now. So we're hoping to do some more fundraisers and stuff to get some more drones until these others gets fixed. But it was crazy. They were in this wide open parking lot. This man comes through there and was looking at them and just completely ran over this drone. And I'm like, that could have been a kid. That could have been an elderly person.
Right.
That could have been them that he hit.
I
Tony
can't
had to chase him down to get him to
Wow.
stop.
Wow.
It's
That's
crazy.
crazy. Yeah. So we're going to do another, I think in the next 30 days, we're going to get together and we're going to do a fundraiser, and all of the money that we fundraise will not go through my channel. It'll go directly to Equusearch Midwest, just like we did last February. And I think we raised close to $20,000. And after it was all said and done, money trickled in after the fact. And I think we did really well with that. So I'm encouraging everyone to please go on to Equusearch Midwest's website. I'll link it in the description down below here, and support this great team. Twila is the search coordinator. She's now the drone coordinator as well. And I want to say thank you to everyone who's given super chats. Kylie, Madden, thank you for the $2 super chat, super sticker, much appreciated, and all of the folks who are here. Callbox Lounge, the good NYPD, saying hello, and I saw the Real Housewives of New York chiming in. I'm not sure if that's the real Housewives of New York, but if it is, thank you for your support on Crime Time with DutyRon. Hold on a second. Jennifer Nobles, I can't highlight that, but I have it on my phone here. Jennifer Nobles has been a platinum member. That's the highest tier membership of Crime Time with DutyRon. And she sends a message. It says, prayers for Candice and Justin, prayers for the Idaho 4 parents. Such senseless acts of inhumanity for all of these children. Let's get this fundraiser going for more missing to be found. We still need to find our boys in California City. Sincere and classic, Orrin and Orson West. Thank you, Jen, for being a strong supporter of Equusearch Midwest and Crime Time with DutyRon. And we love you. And again, thank you for being a channel member. And for those of you who are not yet subscribed, consider subscribing to this great community, because the community is not just about me and Ed Wallace. It's about us together. So it's a combination of all of you good people, supporting great groups like Equusearch Midwest and Twila Cisco and Dave Rader. What they do is nothing short of miraculous. Heather, whatever, thank you for the $5 super chat. She says, thank you for supporting families. Amen to that. Amen. So yeah, a lot of stuff developed in the process of me going live tonight. Dylan Rounds, the murderer of Dylan Rounds, is now charged officially. He's been in custody since July of 2022. James Brenner, charged with aggravated murder and desecration of a body. We still need to find Dylan Rounds and bring him home. So, you know, we need to still, there's a ton of work that still needs to be done in the Dylan Rounds case, and in our boys in Bakersfield, California, Sincere and Classic. These two little babies, their remains have yet to be found, but their murderers are going to be on the trial should commence this month. So we hope that there's a successful prosecution in the Kern County District Attorney's office is charging that case against Trezell and Jacqueline West, and we hope that there is a successful prosecution and these scumbags are put in jail in a cage for the rest of their natural born lives, and I hope they rot in prison. So that's what we hope to pray for. Polka Dots, thank you for the $20 super sticker. Thank you for your support. Beth Katzenberg, thank you for the $2 super sticker, super chat. She says, prayers. Thank you, Twila and DutyRon. And we both thank you tremendously.
You know what, DutyRon, I don't think I would be able to do what I do and come so far in the organization without our director, Dave, because, you know, he may smile in public or whatever, but I'm going to tell you what, his heart is like a piece of cotton, and he teaches a lot. Like, I shadowed him for months to learn everything that I've learned. And I think, I hope he sees this and he can hear me say that I'm very, very grateful to have a director that runs our organization so smoothly the way he does. And I'm going to speak on behalf of all of our teammates. He runs such a good team, and he doesn't just treat us like we're teammates. He treats us like we're family. And if it wasn't for him running such a, just treating us like humans, I don't think we'd be able to do what we do. To assist for the missing, even if we don't have funds or donations in our account, we still continue to go with our own funds. You know what I mean? because that's what we like to do. We don't want to leave somebody out there not thinking that nobody, just because we don't know the family or we don't know this person and they're hundreds of miles away, doesn't mean that we don't care, because we would go to show that family that we do care. And we're not going to give up. Once we get something in our hands of a missing person, we don't give up.
And I know this to be true because I've actually seen this happen. I've spent countless hours on the phone on conference calls with you and Dave. And I know you guys, sometimes I call you guys and you're like, DutyRon, can we call you back? We're in the middle of a case. So this is how it goes. And the love that Dave Rader pours into this, the heart that big, gentle giant has, even though it sometimes it doesn't show, but what we see from him behind the scenes and his vigor for searching for the missing and his dedication is just second to none. So I can't say enough good about Dave. And when he calls me or if I call him, I get on the phone and I say, Goldilocks, I love you. So, and that's the standard thing with me and Dave. When he calls, I go, oh, you sexy hunk. I tell him.
Yeah,
and,
he loves him some DutyRon. I swear, if you two ever see each other in person, we're gonna have to watch you, because he loves some DutyRon.
Yeah, it's a love fest. Jennifer Nobles, thank you for the $5 super chat. She says, Midwest Equusearch, you are the best a community could ask for. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Jennifer in Bakersfield, California. So Heather, whatever, I'm getting people to start laughing. Let's put out a oh hell no, just because. Ready?
Oh hell no.
There's an oh hell no. We can't have the show without our oh hell no. And here's the no Jagaloon the standard operating recording that I made. Stand by for this.
This is a no Jagaloon zone.
This is a no Jagaloon zone. So that's that deep voice. So Robbie is chiming in and saying DutyRon is a sexy hunk too. Wow. Thank you, Robbie.
Oh hell no.
Pull it
We
over.
can't let Dave see that comment, man. He might get a little jealous.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So listen, I got an early morning live stream tomorrow, 9:30 Eastern, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you can't make it and you're on the other side of the United States, it's kind of early. But don't stay up late if you're on the East Coast. Go to bed soon, because at 9:30, me and Ed Wallace and Luke from FARO Industries, Luke Hall is going to join us. He's a retired New England police. I believe he was a state police officer, but now he works for FARO Industries, selling to law enforcement and general industry the 3D laser scanners. We are going to bring you and walk you through an old crime scene, and it's not that old. It's actually a case that's just completed. It's no longer being prosecuted. The case that Luke is going to show you is a active live crime scene as the investigators found the human remains in there. So if you suffer from PTSD, maybe think about it a little bit. And I'll put the disclaimer out tomorrow, but this is going to be a very good demonstration of what this technology can provide for a jury. We just saw that the Alec Murdaugh's jury went out to the crime scene at the kennel where Maggie and Paul were murdered. They were able to go out there and see it, but that also was done with a 3D laser scanner by FARO. And he's going to talk about it. Luke is going to talk about it tomorrow morning. We know for a fact that the University of Idaho 1122 King Road homicide crime scene was 3D laser scan video and photographed by a 3D laser scanner by the prosecution and the defense. So that's all been confirmed. We're going to talk about it tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard. I know Twila will be snoring and seeing the sheep go over her head at that time. She'll be sleeping because she's an hour behind us. She's a very busy mom. So I know Twila's not an early riser, so we don't expect Twila in the audience, but I may get Dave Rader because he does those 1,000 push-ups and sit-ups in the morning at 6. We'll see if we can get Dave to come on with us. But anyways, I want to thank you, Twila, for being here. The mission that you guys do, and just because we haven't had you on in a long time doesn't mean that we don't still love you guys. You've been busy with searching on cases, and there's so much for you to talk about here that if we started getting into it, people's heads would explode with the amount of work and things that you guys have accomplished over the last 6 months. It's just amazing, the cases, the amount of volume of cases that you guys have covered in this 6 months is just over the top. So thank you for all you do.
Our team has been out every weekend, probably just about every weekend since we were last on there. I know it's been a couple months, but our team has been out every weekend. We had one here in Tennessee that we went out on. It was awful. I told you about it, I think. And then Dave up in Ohio, they've been out every single weekend. They just recovered. As a matter of fact, they recovered a guy a couple weeks ago and was just at his funeral last night. Wow. Dave was calling when, maybe it was the night before, but Dave was calling when they were leaving the funeral home. So we've been super busy, but it's what we do. So
wow. Yeah.
We're grateful for people like you, DutyRon, and for your DutyRon family. We're grateful for y'all.
Well, the community here loves you guys, and everything that you do, we support you guys 100%. So that's that's what I want to leave the audience with. The great groups like Equusearch Midwest that go out and search for the missing. And you guys, as far as I've known, you never once gave a bill to any families that you've searched for the missing for. Isn't that correct?
That's correct. Never, ever. Dave Rader would never allow us to give him bill or charge or anything like that. Never, ever will that happen.
Wow. And that's what makes it even more awesome, is that you're providing this service to law enforcement and the families free of charge. And that's a great thing. And for those of you who are following Summer Wells, these guys were out there numerous times to search for Summer Wells down in East Tennessee. And if they were called to go back and search again for her, they would do it without, and I don't even have to ask Twila this because we didn't talk about this, but I know that she's going to agree with me. If Ronnie Lawson in the Hawkins County Sheriff's Department asked them to come back there, they would be like, when do you need us? When do you need us?
100%. Yep, 100%.
Anybody want to see Popeye Cam? He's sleeping. He's tucked in. Oh no, he's actually awake now. Anybody want to see Popeye Cam? Let's do it. Let's do Popeye. There he is. That's the 35-year-old African gray, Popeye. So I've gotten a little advanced, Twila. I got 2 camera angles here. Pretty soon I'll have one from behind shooting this way. Yeah, look, I'm getting fancy.
Oh wow.
He looks like a hawk. Looks like a hawk from
That's
there.
crazy.
Right? Let's go full screen with that. Hold on.
Wow.
You get to see my devices here. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's pretty cool though.
You see how I'm looking at the chat and all the stuff here. And I shut down the second my third monitor, because if I have this monitor on and I share that screen, it's just like a big blur. It looks like a big blur.
Wow.
So, but anyways, yeah, we're getting advanced. We're getting advanced. All right, guys and girls, on behalf of Crime Time with DutyRon and Twila, Equusearch Midwest, I want to wish you guys a good evening. But I want to say this. Let's send strength, prayers, and positive vibes to Candice Cooley, Justin Rounds, and the entire Rounds and Cooley family. They need us now more than ever. Let's send them strength, prayers, and positive vibes, and all of the victims of crime across the globe, not just the Rounds and Cooley family and Ethan, Zaina, Kaylee, Maddie, and all of these cases that we speak about, no matter who it is, Sincere and Classic out in California. The names, I can go on and on all night with this, but I want to say, and the most important thing is the victims and their families. The victims do not have a voice anymore, and that's why this is where we come in to give a voice for them. And we keep their cases alive by speaking about them with respect, with dignity, with honor. And then we support their surviving families by trying to give them any type of behind the scene police / lawyer advice with the help of our counsel Joe Murray and so forth, and then searching with Twila and the company and Equusearch Midwest and the whole crew. And I say and company, meaning the folks who volunteer with them. All right, guys, on behalf of Twila and DutyRon, we're going to wish you a good night. I'll see you at 9:30 a.m. Eastern in the morning. Twila, I love you. I hope to see you soon and talk to you real soon.
Love you too.
All right, Twila. Good night, guys and girls. See you tomorrow. Peace and love from DutyRon.